Hello, hello, hello. What is up, everyone? My name is Duran Essex. I'm a spiritual life coach, meditation teacher, workshop facilitator, and international speaker. And today, this is my three-step training for how to heal trauma in 3 steps um, of stuff that's been with you for decades. So definitely, you're going to want to clear out your browser, right? Turn your phone off, put on airplane mode, put it in the closet, get a notebook, and have an open mind because I will share some things with you that I share with my clients that invest themselves and invest a lot of their time, energy, and resources into learning these tactics. And I wanted to share this training with you all to give you all some foundation and some insight and clarity into trauma and what it is about and how it kind of works and how to start healing stuff that's been dislodged for years. So let's get into it. So first, I will always, and with my clients as well, I always share from my own personal experience. Normally therapists, they don't necessarily share from their personal experience. Like they don't make it personal, but I think that's what's wrong. And I've noticed a lot of my clients all over the world, they are really they really get it when I share from my own personal experience of my traumas that I've been through and how I've healed them, so that they can get a sense of like, oh wow, he did this, like this, affected him like this, so forth and so on. So let's get into it. Overview of today. We're going to be going through the first step, which is awareness and understanding. And in that steps, I'm going to talk to you about how healing is not linear, how time numb all wounds until it is, triggered. And he who controls the past controls the future, and how we must train our healing muscle. The more reps, the better. I'm gonna explain what those mean, and then the second step, which is looking from what meaning that you derive from the situation. Okay, and that is really where we're going to pick one event, big or small, to like start off with. Then we'll take a deep breath and write them down. Then we'll talk about something called the meaning making machine and something called the blind man and the elephant, and something called like basically how to shape and rechange our perceptions and the conclusions that we gathered from these situations. These conclusions that we gathered from these traumas, from these situations, is what makes it so goddamn hard to let it go. And compound interest. And then we'll talk about like the more that we replay it, the more we are looking to see it. And then the last step is forgiving into love, and giving you a powerful forgiving into love exercise that will really help you start this healing journey. And then at the end of the video, I will share with you, the people that I do work with and people that I don't work with. And then if you want to have a conversation with me, I will give you the link to go on my calendar and look up what time you can have a chat with me to see if I can help you further. If you get value from this training, definitely let me know through the DMs on whatever social media platform that we connected through, and then from there, if you resonate with it, come have a chat with me and see if I can help you even further. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So first, awareness and understanding. So first, we want to understand something. Healing is not linear, it is circular. Time in and of itself is not linear, it is circular. And I want to show you this, give me one second. I want to kind of show you this idea that I've been working with. So before, growing up, I used to hear a lot that, oh man, time heal all wounds, like basically just like keep going and like you'll forget about it, all the other stuff like that. But then, the more I started to kind of recognize this, the more I started to see, I don't think this is the like truth. And so I made this little graph for you all, kind of understanding this is how we first want to see it. So basically, time is not linear, it is circular. Okay, so this yellow string here, this represents your lifetime. And what happens is that if we look at the key here, present is the green, past is the white, and purple is the future. So this is our present moment. So what happens is that most personal development programs, most coaches, they're only talking about your future self, which is important as hell. Don't get me wrong. Like that's something that I definitely help people with. But it is cataclysmic if that's a word, LOL. It's cataclysmic if you are only focusing on the future and not the past. Why? Well, because think about it like this. whenever you think about doing something new, whether a relationship or whether a job or a new experience, new opportunity, you always do what? Look back into the past first to see if it's true. Or to like see if you have done anything like this, or if you have heard of your parents or your authority or like anybody have told you about this. This is what we do, and this is how time in and of itself works. What happens is that as we go through life, this yellow line, which like represents us, it kind of goes back into the past, gathers information from the past, and it brings it into the present moment so that it can, through the lens of the past, look into the future. Okay, this is powerful. This is very powerful because once we understand this, then we get to see, I have to first go back and heal that. I can't just keep acting like it's not there and then wonder why I keep getting triggered and then wonder why I keep attracting the same thing, same situation, same thing. Is because you keep trying to build a new version of yourself when you haven't even, really healed the other version of yourself. So that's the most important thing. And this is how we kind of want to set it up, kind of how I want you to understand this. Once again, whenever you are doing something new, and especially in relationships, because most of the traumas sometimes come from relationships, come from people hurting you or betrayal. What happens is you look back into the past to see to see how your relationship success has worked. And then you go to the future with that lens. Okay, this is me not really exposing, but like sharing my own personal story. When I was 6 years old, my biological father left me and my mom and my twin, right? So I gathered the meaning from that, I'm not worthy to be loved because this man who I love so much left me. So if he left me, somebody else could leave me. So what happened was I didn't even know this until I kept seeing this thing play out. Every single relationship I would get into, I would have this innate fear in the background that, oh man, they're gonna leave me. Why? Because every single relationship that I got into in the present moment, I look back into my past, right? I look back into my past, try to configure, okay, how did my relationships work in the past? And then I use that as a lens to see in the future. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. And so, our romantic relationships are only a manifestation of our parent relationships. And so my parent relationship of my father leaving me, that became the story I told myself. And I was like, well, I'm not worthy of love because he left me. So every new girlfriend I got, boom, they was gonna leave me. And somehow, some way, it happened until I broke the curse, right? And so I'm gonna teach you how to do that. Okay, so I hope that you got that point. Now, the next point. So, one sec. Okay, cool. So now we want to understand that time, does not heal all wounds. It numbs the shit until it can. How do I say this? It numbs it until it's triggered again. Sometimes people push their emotions down deep, down deep, down deep, and people think, oh man, I don't have them, or it's not there. No, it's almost like you just put a box somewhere in the attic, but you haven't been in the attic for decades, and you don't know where the shit's at. That's all that it is, right? Until you see see something in your house that reminds you of that box, then now it's triggered. Now that memory is triggered. Now you're like, oh man, it's up there, all the way in the corner, in the left, on the left-hand side, next to the window with the bats and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it works. And now I want to kind of help you understand this next part, which is he who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future. So back to this, right? I want to give you this new thing. So it's from a book called 1984 by George Orwell. And if you haven't read this book, I strongly suggest that you do read it because it's a really powerful book. And in the book, it says this quote. It says, he who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future. So most people think that we can't go back and change the past. Absolutely false. Absolutely false. Just like people think that it's impossible to have negative thinking. Absolutely false, right? And so I'm explaining to you why. Because he who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future. What does that mean? Well, let's go back to our last thing, the last image that I showed you, because that kind of sums it up, right? So if we're going back to this diagram, time, right? The diagram is here. And it basically is like, look, he who controls the present moment controls the past, meaning that from the present moment awareness, if you can go back into the past, heal that, transmute that, rearrange the meaning, rearrange the conclusions that you gathered from that, now you can actually control the future, because there isn't anything harping or anything sabotaging, like anything from the past sabotaging your future. That's what it is. That's what we have to do. And so, I hope that you're getting insights from this. I hope that that you're getting breakthroughs. Definitely pause it if you got to write some stuff down, because I want you to get this. I'm talking to you, and I'm breaking it down as if you were one of my clients. Even if you do become a client down in the future or not, I just want to give you this value so that you can heal from this shit. Because I'm guessing if you're on this training, you don't want to continue staying in the same state that you're in. Fuck that. Why stay in that same state of pain and anguish and numbness and trust issues and all that stuff like that if there's a better way? There's a better way. I'm sure you have. So that is what you want to understand. By going back to the past, you can now clean that up, heal that up, reprogram that, and now you can focus on this new version of yourself, because there is no fear, there is no worry of anything from the past come back around to bite you. Okay? Now let's keep going. So now healing, and forgiving, just like anything else, is a muscle. Okay. Next thing that I want you to understand, right? This is the whole, this is the first step in awareness and understanding, right? So we talked about how time is not linear; it is circular, right? He who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future, right? And we talked about and we talked about how time doesn't time numbs our wounds until it's triggered again. And now the last point in this step one of healing through traumas is that you can understand it's a muscle. Just like you go to the gym and pump out those weights, you feel me? Just like you go to the gym and do your sit-ups, or just like you go running, right? The first time that you do it, you're probably going to suck, just like anything. And when I teach my different classes, I do something called Capoeira Angola, which is an Afro-Brazilian martial art dance and sport and fight, and spiritual philosophy all combined into one. I teach it at the college that I just graduated from. When I tell them when we're doing a new movement, and people are like, "Oh man, I can't get on my head, or I can't walk on my hands." I'm like, "How many times have you done it?" 0. So of course you're you're gonna suck at it. And when I say suck at it, I don't mean that you, the person, you, the soul, you, the identity, suck. No, I mean that you just haven't practiced it enough towards this second nature, right? So healing is a lifestyle, right? And this is what I tell my clients, because there's so much bullshit going on in the spiritual community where it's oh yes, Reiki one time that I'm healed, or heal myself one time that I'm healed. That is fucking false. That's falser than false, okay? What the reality of the situation is that healing works as an onion layers, okay? So the more that you peel it back, the more that you heal it, the deeper stuff comes up. And then because you're not ready to deal with what's in the core of the onion if you haven't dealt with the what's on the top layer of the onion yet. So you got to heal it in layers. And for example, you may heal something, right? And then a few months later, another deeper part of it surfaces, because now you're ready for that. Now you're ready to heal that. Now that you're ready to heal that, now you can go and address that shit with the tools that I'm giving you. And this is what I tell my clients. I give them 3 powerful ways to heal themselves on a mental level, emotional level, spiritual level. And I tell them it's not just for for our time when we're coaching, it's for the rest of your life. So that as you're healing, as you're uncovering these layers and deeper stuff pops up that, your spirit deems that you're ready to deal with, now you have more tools to deal with them. So healing is a lifestyle. Reprogramming is a lifestyle. It's not a one and done type thing. Or if you're looking for a get peaceful, quick scheme, this is not it. Just exit this video and just unfollow me, because it's all about the long-term sustainability. That's what I teach, right? It's not about this instant gratification, rapid hypnotherapy, rapid, it's gone. No, it's there's processes to it. There are layers that you have to consistently uncover and consistently work through, right? I've worked on my healing for years, And some things I have been able to go from that 9th level of the onion all the way down to that 0 level of the onion. Some things I'm like within 5, 6, 7, 8 levels down deep and still healing it as new stuff arises in my conscious to let me know, oh, okay, Deron, you've done that shit. You've healed that shit. Now you're ready for this deeper shit. And that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Okay. So we got to understand also with that, you know, the more reps, the better, right? If you like, I think Bruce Lee said, or not Bruce Lee, but somebody said, I don't fear the man who, you know, have like done 1,000 different moves one time. I fear the man who have done the same move 1,000 times, right? So it's like, it's all about doing that same move 1,000 times, right? And this is what I teach my students. Monk-like repetition works the best. It's the most basic technique, just like any other thing that you do, and it works the best, right? It's like not doing it one done, like, okay, I'm done, yay, great. No, consistently doing it day in and day out, like consistently, several times a day, as many times as you can, and just consistently keep going. And that builds that healing muscle to whereas now, right, when a deeper layer or something pops up into my service, I immediately know where it came from. I immediately know how to deal with it, and I immediately deal with it right then and there, so that it's not festering, so that it's not sitting, so that it's not attracting any of the negative stuff. Does that make sense? Cool. So we must train our healing muscle. The more reps, the better. The more reps, the better. It's as simple as that. And another thing, triggers are like amazing. Triggers are great. Even though they feel painful, the suffering is like pain, anguish, all that stuff like that. But it's amazing. We need that because triggers show us where the wounds are. Okay, so if you're being triggered, that means it's your spirit telling you, it's like, knock, 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 wake up. You have to heal this. Wake up, you have to heal this. You have to do something about this. And then most people just sedate it, you know, numb themselves or distract themselves. But no, you want to face that thing on the front. Like face that thing face up. And this is what I teach my clients how to do in my coaching programs. And so that's the next thing that you got to understand. Now that we cleared the awareness and understanding part of the first step, second step is looking at the meaning that you derive from the situation. And once again, I'm gonna bring my own meanings into it because when I give you my own, you know, vulnerable stuff from my past, it helps you to see clearly. And my clients say that, you know, really helps them to evolve in a quick manner. So you're gonna look at the meaning that you derive from the situation. Now, you want to pick one event, big or small, to start off with, and take a deep breath and write down the first thing that comes to your mind, right? So I'm gonna, you know, count down from 3 to 1. When I say a number, right now, yes, you watching this video, yes, right now, I want you to take a deep breath every single time I say a number. When I say 3, you're gonna, then 2, and 1, okay? So, and then after 1, I'm gonna say go. And when I say go, I want you to write down the first name or the first experience that comes to you as far as something that you're dealing with. And hell, it may already have hit you, okay? Ready, set, and go. 3. 2. And 1. Go. Write down the first name or first experience or the first thing that hits you, something that you still gotta heal. Go. Okay. And then, you know, if you're still struggling, just still keep breathing. And when it comes to you, write it down. Write the first thing that comes to your mind. First thing, don't overthink about it. Just first thing. Go. Boom. You should already have it. Because once again, you wouldn't be pulled on this call. Pulled on this video if you didn't feel like it was something there in the first place. Okay. So now, you know, now I want to talk to you about the meaning making machine. Okay. So I want you to imagine that there is this machine in our heads, okay, where it's kind of like this conveyor belt, okay? And it's like this conveyor belt. Oh, that's a really nice conveyor belt. It's like this conveyor belt. And then, you know, it has like a machine kind of thing where it's like this, this, and then, you know, and then obviously the machine. This is the conveyor belt. Okay, so we have this conveyor belt, and then right here drops down. We have, let's just say this box. Actually, I'll make it a different color. Right, we have this box here. And let's say this box is, and we can put EX. That's an experience. Okay? So this box is an experience. Okay, so this experience now goes through the meaning-making machine, which we're just gonna put meaning-making machine. Right, and then it goes beep, boop, bop, beep. Right, then it comes out on the other side. It comes out on the other side as a conclusion or a meaning, right? So we can say conclusion, CON. Right, so what happens is we have an experience, and this is a like mechanism in our brain that is happening 24/7. Right, say for instance that you walk into work and you say, hey to your coworker, and they ignore you. Immediately, you're going to try to associate a meaning to that experience so that you can walk away with a conclusion, so you can get clarity or closure. Right. So what happens is that, especially when very traumatic, like betrayal, hurt, like pain, stuff like that, all that stuff like that, when an experience happens to us like that, we immediately, like, there's like this innate human, like what I've gathered from my experience living so far and coaching people all over the world, is that we have a innate like drive to make a meaning out of something. Like we have to, like, for our own sanity. And I really do believe if we don't make meanings out of things, we go insane a little bit. So we have to make meanings out of things so we can find closure, rationalize it, compartmentalize it in whatever way that we got to do, right? So we have this experience. This experience then automatically goes through the meaning-making machine, okay? And this meaning-making machine now brings a conclusion. This conclusion is now how we see that person, how we see that thing. Let's use my example, okay? My biological father leaving me, my mom, my twin, at 6 years old, right? That experience, I made a meaning out of it. That meaning that I made, which is the conclusion that I am not worthy. So I'm just write that down. I am not worthy of love. Okay? That was the meaning that it meant. I'm not worthy of love. Now, this conclusion then kind of drops off into this kind of box, if you will. This conclusion drops off into this box of my main beliefs. Okay? Now the conclusion drops off into my main beliefs. Now what happens is I walk through life with the skewed vision of I am not worthy of love. That's how I see it. And so then what happens is, and now why does this happen? Because beliefs are powerful as hell. There's been so much science, so much studies on it. I'm not going to give you all the details. But it's important to know that once you believe something to be true, I was just reading today in this book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. You should really get that book. It was talking about how, basically our main beliefs, they are just as powerful as hypnosis. And actually hypnosis in and of itself is nothing magical. You're only watching the power of belief to the nervous system. That's the only thing that you're watching. So when this conclusion, I'm not worthy, falls into my main belief, I now see myself, not only see myself, but I see myself and I see life through that lens. Now I go through life. Here's the crazy part, y'all. I'm preaching now. I go through life looking for experiences or looking for anything that will confirm my belief. So what that means is that I am naturally attracting people, situations, opportunities that are going to confirm this. And then when I say, I knew I was not worthy of love. What happens is, right, is that we have belief over here, and you have, reality confirming over here, and that feeds back into belief. So this belief, right, that I am not worthy of love, what happens is that through my action, right, of me just naturally looking for stuff to confirm it, then I may get into a relationship that shows me, I'm not worthy of love. Boom, now that confirms this belief, making this belief even stronger, making me only be able to see through this lens even more. Even more. Okay? And so then it gets stronger. It's like, the more that it confirms it, it's a feedback loop. Now that it being confirmed, now it feeds back into that belief. It feeds back into that belief, making it stronger, making you take more action unconsciously about it. Thus, boom, the cycle continues faster and faster and faster. Now, if you're not careful, just like Janelle Monáe said, sometimes we can put ourselves into a box, and if we're not careful, we can live in that box for the rest of our goddamn life. What I do in my program, I help people break out this motherfucker so they can truly, have worthy, meaningful, successful, beautiful relationships and anything else in their life. Okay. So then that I am not worthy of love. Now I'm only looking through that lens. But here's the crazy part. Where did all this happen? All of this BS started from the conclusion. Because the experience is the experience, right? I can put a negative conclusion or a positive conclusion on the experience, right? I could have said when I was 6 years old, I could have thought, oh man, he missed out on me. I could have thought that. And then I could have been like, well, no, I'm still worthy of love. Some people are just not, like, and I'm not even gonna say worthy, but some people, just miss their chance to love me in the way that I know I should be loved, right? That's what I could have said. See, what happens is that once an experience happens, then you make a meaning out of it. That conclusion, that meaning automatically drops to your beliefs. Now that belief can really fuck you up if it's a negative belief, because now you're gonna look for situation, opportunities, circumstances. You're gonna think stuff that makes that belief become true. And then it becomes true by your thoughts, actions, and seeing it and looking for it in reality. And it all starts with a conclusion. That's where it all starts, yo. I hope I'm preaching somebody, because I really want people to resonate with this. Okay? So we have an experience, that experience happens, but here's the crazy part. One, our memories suck, absolutely suck. Two, I talked to my father. I talked to him, and we had a conversation about 3 or 4 years ago. And I was so angry, I was mad, I was upset, I was raged. I was like, how the fuck could you leave us? You suck, you piece of shit, blah 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 blah. And then when we had the conversation, I recognized that yes, even though he did leave, I made the completely wrong meaning and conclusion out of those situations. I made the completely wrong, I made the completely wrong thing out of those situations. I did. So when I had a conversation with him, he was like, no, no. He's like, that's not true. It's not that I didn't love you. I wasn't fit to be a father in that mindset that I was in back then. What? I was like, whoa, what? What? How? It shook everything to my core, because I recognized for 13 years I was living a lie. And there's a lot of lies you've been living, but it's okay, because we're gonna break you out of them, because you didn't know any better, right? I didn't know any better at 6. And hell, some people do this when they're 16, 26, 36, 46, 56. You don't know no better. No one teaches us this shit, And which is why I see so much distortion in the spiritual and personal development community. I need to bring light to what's actually going on. This is what is actually going on. Okay, so this is the meaning making machine. And now, next thing, the blind man and the elephant. So very, which kind of goes in alignment with everything we've been talking about. So there's this thing called the blind man elephant, where you have this elephant, right? You have this elephant. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, elephant tusk, boom, the trunk, right? Boom. That's a really good elephant. Okay, no Boom. And then you had 3 men who were blindfolded. Their noses were plugged, and their ears was also plugged. So they couldn't see, they couldn't hear, they couldn't smell, and they could only touch. Am I missing a sense? I don't know if I'm missing a sense. But basically, all their senses was blocked except for touching. Okay? So you had a guy up here, boom, boom. A guy right here, boom, boom. A guy right here, boom, boom, boom. Okay. So basically, what happened was there was like scientists asked them after they like touched the like different elements, the different parts of the elephant. It was like, okay, what did you touch? He was like, I touched a tree branch. That's what he said. Because once again, they're all blindfolded. Like the only perception, the only way to understand something was through one sense, one view. Okay, hope you get it. What I'm trying to get at. Okay, so one view, right? Then what happened was he was like, oh, this is a tree branch. This is a vine. Him, touching the elephant's tail. The person on top of the elephant was like, oh yeah, this is a big ass boulder. That's what he said. He said, oh yeah, this is a big ass boulder. And what it means is that when you only look something through one perception, through one conclusion, through one lens, you're more than likely always going to get it wrong. And so that's what we have to do. So, meaning our perception and the conclusions that we draw from what happened, it is what encodes the trauma so deeply in our belief system that we can't even release it from our perception, right? It's like he's looking at everything like I'm not worthy of love when there is so many, and I'm going to use this color to show the other different perspectives that you can see from it. There's this perspective. 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 There is this perspective. And there's this perspective. And hell, there's probably a million more perspectives. So he's looking at everything through this one filtered, distorted lens, when in actuality, once you release that conclusion, release that perception, it's thousands of different ways to view it. I hope I'm talking to somebody today. And then we compound it by time, which now it becomes a problem. Then it's numbed and it's a normal belief in your head until it's triggered again, which maybe happen monthly, weekly, daily, who knows, right? But if it's triggered, it's showing you like, look, this is false. Like you have been living a false lie. It's time to design something new. It's trying to get something new, right? And then the more we replay it, the more we see it, okay? The more we replay it, the more we see it. Meaning the more that we replay this experience and own the experience, but the conclusion that we drew from the experience, the more we begin to see it in our life. Because why? When you replay something, well, first off, the subconscious mind is only governed through images. So when you feed it an image, which is why art is so powerful, when you feed it an image, it takes it in. And when you feed your mind, check this out, y'all. Check this out, y'all, okay? When you feed your mind a image that is detailed and vivid, and replay a memory in a vivid, detailed way, your nervous system cannot tell the difference between real and fake. Cannot tell the difference between reality and a vivid, detailed imagination. Whether that imagination is a memory, whether it's actually like imagination of something that hasn't happened yet, right? It cannot tell the difference, which is why, do you ever just like, sit, like I used to sit in the shower and just play scenarios of shit that would happen, like negative shit that would happen but would never happen. You ever do that? That's because you've played the old shit so much that now in the future, once again, the thing that we talked about earlier, the future, now you're only looking stuff through that one lens because of what happened back there. Okay? So now that we understand this, now the third step is to start to forgive. Now, it obviously takes quite a while. It doesn't take forever, but the longer that you've been replaying something, the longer that it's been the longer it's been since you've had it, the more effort and work you have to put in, like versus something that just happened yesterday, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. It just means more work, and that's okay. But it's like you gotta understand that it takes a while to rearrange this conclusion and go deep there and rearrange that meaning, And so what we have to do is, if you're watching this now and you really want help in rearranging all these old fucked up meanings that you associated through things because you didn't know any better, the best place for you to go, honestly, is my program, because I literally designed a program to help people with this exact thing. So, wait to the end of the video, but definitely click my schedule link to get on my calendar and see, when we can have a chat. Because if this is resonating with you, it means that you need help, which is beautiful. It means that you may be ready for it. And so let's chat to see if it's a good fit or not. Cool. So now last thing is forgiving into love, and a forgive into love exercise to start the healing journey. Okay. So basically, I am pulling from a book called The Code. Oh, I don't think you can see it, but called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani. So if you open up a Bible, no, I'm kidding. So basically, on page 139 to 143, there's a thing called Discipline System to Forgiveness. Discipline is just like bliss discipline, something that Vishen made up. So basically, I'm gonna read a few paragraphs from here so you can kind of understand where it's coming from, and then I'm gonna walk you through the exercise. Okay. So basically, Vishen Lakhiani, who's a personal development coach, who's the founder of Mindvalley. If you've seen one of their ads or seen some of their stuff before, great guy. He went to this program called 40 Years of Zen. Well, the scientists who developed this technology studied the brainwaves of many remarkable people, billionaires, intuitives, creatives, monks, and mystics. And what they found was that when you meditate using these methods, your brain takes on the same patterns as someone who has spent 21 to 40 years in Zen meditation, right? So basically, they were hooked up to the most cutting-edge special biofeedback equipment to measure their brainwaves. The equipment beat different sounds depending on the brainwaves, and they were producing alpha waves associated with high creativity, compassion, insight, forgiveness, and love. Theta waves correlated with flashes of creativity, intuition, and delta waves associated with altering reality. And basically, what happens is that they also see numbers on the screen indicating that brainwave amplitudes, higher amplitudes are better, and the coherence between both hemispheres of the brain. Better coherence signifies better states of mind, right? Because in the first 7 years of a child's birth, they're in a hypnotic state, meaning meaning that everything that they see, they're probably going to believe is true, because both of their hemispheres are in alignment. But once the 5 to 7 age range hits, the hippocampus starts to form, the memory starts to form, and then two hemispheres kind of separate. But what we want to do is that we want to get our hemispheres back in alignment so that we can hypnotize ourselves, i.e., create powerful beliefs that actually serve us instead of sabotage us. Okay. And so basically, the main focus of their sessions was to teach them how to increase their alpha waves, which will allow them to higher states of creativity, a more relaxed mind, better problem-solving abilities, and in general, many of the same benefits one would get from years of meditation. All of them were having major breakthroughs. By the end of the time there, he felt a noticeable difference. In fact, his practice never evolved in such a short amount of time. And check this out, y'all. As it turned out, the big secret to increasing alpha brainwaves was just one thing, and they spent 7 full days focusing on it: forgiveness. The people behind the program discovered holding on to grudges and anger is the single biggest thing of suppressing alpha waves. And it's a single biggest thing, stopping you from becoming your best version of yourself. So it was critical for us to be able to release every last bit of that out of our systems, right? So here's the crazy part. Nobody mentioned forgiveness in the brochure when they signed up for the program. They signed up to improve their thinking, creativity skills, to experience deep states of meditation, to tame stress and anxiety. Yet forgiveness gave them all the above, and they can see the results in their neurofeedback data. So they had to forgive every single person in their lives who had wronged them, even if it was in the slightest way imaginable. They had to forgive high school teachers, business partners, family members, everyone that they could think of and believe they had wronged them, big or small. And every single time I did a round of forgiveness, my alpha waves spiked. The method that they taught us was unbelievably effective. For me, it was timely, right? And so now I want to walk you through the exercise, which is a little guided meditation. It's a 5-minute, very quick meditation. And now you can do this and replay this as much as you need to. I personally tell my clients to do about 5 reps of this a day, at the minimum. At the maximum, about 20 reps a day. So let's get into it. And I've done this shit at least hundreds of times. And every single time I do it, it's like, whoa, like you just have this visceral feeling. Okay, so Basically, here is a simplified variation of the forgiveness exercise that he learned. Number one, preparation. In a notebook or on your computer or on your phone, make a list of people who you feel have wronged you or situations where you have been hurt. They could be recent or from the distant past. This may not be easy to do, especially if you're dealing with a very hurtful or long-standing situation. Be patient with yourself and remember that forgiveness, like happiness, is a trainable skill. In my own life, I have found it well worth the time and effort needed to release anger and hurt from my past. When you're ready, pick one of the people on the list and start the exercise. Okay, so what I want you to do first is I'm gonna count down from 3 to 1 again. Each time I say a number, I want you to take a deep breath. Okay, and after I say about 1, I want you to close your eyes and just relax. Get yourself to a relaxed state of being. Now, why do we get ourselves into a relaxed state of being? Well, it's because when you form these beliefs, there was no effort. They just naturally occurred. They naturally formed. So we have to reverse the process in a very natural way. Like we can't forgive, like you can't force it. You have to ease into it. Okay, surrender. So let's get into it. Ready, set, and go. 3. 2. And 1. I want you to close your eyes. Step 1, set the scene. First, with your eyes closed for about 2 minutes or so, feel yourself in the very moment when it happened. Picture the environment. Be as detailed as possible. As you're picturing the environment, look for like little tiny details of the environment that you remember. Like what was you wearing? What was the carpet? What was the weather? What did they wear? All that stuff like that. Picture the environment. In one of my sessions, for example, I imagined my bullying school headmaster in the basketball court where he made me stand for hours in the hot sun as punishment. Right now, step 2, keep your eyes closed. As you see the person who wronged you in front of you, and the person can also be yourself. Okay, as you see the person who wronged you in front of you, get emotional. Relive the anger and the pain. Feel it burn. But don't do this for more than a few minutes. Once you bring up these emotions, move on to the next step. Step 3, forgive and to love. See the same person in front of you, but instead feel compassion for him or her and ask yourself, what did I learn from this? How did this situation make my life better? I want you to keep your eyes closed and just hear these next words I'm going to say. As I was doing this process, I remembered a quote from one of my favorite authors, Neil Donald Walsh. And it says, the universe sends you nothing but angels. It implies adopting a model of reality that everyone who has ever entered our lives, even those who have hurt us, are nothing more than messengers to teach us an important lesson. Think about what lessons you could derive from the situation, as painful as it might have been. How did these lessons help you grow? Next, focus on the person who wronged you. What pain or anguish could they have gone through in their life that made them do what they did? Remember, hurt people hurt other people. And those who hurt others are doing it because at some level, at some time, they were hurt too. Think about how they may have been hurt in their childhood or in recent years. When I did this exercise, I saw the man who had stolen from me, and I tried to imagine him as a little boy. Perhaps he came from poverty. Perhaps he had an abusive parent. Perhaps his life was a constant struggle. And the only means of survival as a child was to steal. I don't know the reality of his history, and I don't need to. But it was helpful for me to imagine him in a situation where I could feel compassion for him rather than just anger. This process could take a few minutes. Afterwards, you should feel a slightly negative charge towards this person. Repeat this process until you feel comfortable forgiving and to love. For a serious offense, this could take hours or days. For a small offense, like a minor issue with a coworker, 5 minutes may be all you need. I learned from this experience that you don't have to ask the other person to forgive you. You just have to forgive them. That's completely within your control. Now, there is something important to distinguish here. Forgiveness and to love does not mean to simply let go. in my case, to drop the charges against the man with the police, you still need to protect yourself and take action if need be. Criminal acts, especially, should be reported to the authorities. But the pain of what happened should not eat at you. My friend Joe Polish, who took this training with me, sent me a quote that he found on the web to me in a text message the next day. Unfuckwittable. When you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, nothing anyone says or does bothers you, and no negativity can touch you. When you truly learn to forgive, you become unfuckwittable. Someone could be mean to you, and yes, you'll take defensive action and protect yourself if necessary, but you're able to go on with your life without having to waste your energy on them. The thing that made 40 years of Zen the most powerful personal growth experience I've ever had was a sense of liberation I felt at the end of it. I cleaned myself of so many grudges I held on to for years. I let go of painful memories I forgot in a hat that were weighing me down. And I finally released the negative charges I felt against people who I believe have wronged me. Today, I've never felt more at peace with myself, and you can do this too. And so that is the first exercise, and that's a powerful forgiveness exercise that's helped me heal from, the situation with my father that I just told you about. And I've given that exercise to dozens of clients, and they have all have had profound sense of liberation, sense of lightness in their chest, because sometimes, like, especially with betrayal, right, like it's here, like you feel it here. And it just like kind of like soothes that and like allows a sense of inner peace to come over you. So those are the 3 steps to healing your trauma. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you got to end this video and this resonated with you, maybe you are a good fit for my coaching program, right? I have a 13-week coaching program where in that coaching program, I teach you the first 6 weeks how to go back and heal every single thing that's happened to you, right? I give you steps like this and other powerful steps to help you heal yourself on a mental level, emotional level, and spiritual level, to really help you create, the inner peace and sense of harmony and bliss that you want. And then the last 7 weeks of the program, I teach you how to recreate, your negative thinking, low confidence, low self-esteem into a new version of yourself that's capable of achieving the dreams and goals that you set out in this lifetime to do. So definitely, if you're interested in our program, let's have a chat first just to see if I can help you, right? Because I'm just not trying to sell you anything. I just first want to see if you're a good fit for the program and if, I can help you. So basically, I just want to tell you that if you want to schedule a call with me, then my link is below in the info section of this, training. And this training is going to be on our YouTube, but it's going to be private, so only people who I send the link to can view it. And so then in the info box about the video, you'll see the link right there. And now I just want to tell you about who I don't work with and do work with, so that if you feel like you're in the category of people that I do work with, definitely schedule a call. I have a few open slots left for my coaching program, and then we'll go from there. So people I do not work with. I do not work with people who are lazy. I do not work with people who hide behind their limiting life and money circumstances as to why they cannot invest in themselves or as to why they cannot get themselves out of the rut that they put themselves in. I do not work with people, who are okay staying in their current patterns and staying in their current way of life, and they're okay living this year and the last few years the next 5 years. If you're okay with that, that's cool. I don't work with you. I do not work with people who have shiny object syndrome and jump from thing to thing and never truly commit to one thing. I do not work with people who are still in information gathering mode about their problems and they're not ready to take immediate and decisive action to truly change your life around. I do not work with people who don't invest in themselves, because if you don't invest in yourself, and if you're the kind of person that you only want free shit, but you never invest in yourself, you won't really get anywhere, honest to God truth. And that's just not about my program. That's in anything in life. If you're a type of person oh man, I just want the free stuff, but you never put money behind your own mind and your heart, but you put money into clothes or electronics or shit that's going to rust, rot, and depreciate over time, what are you doing? That's just, no, I don't work with those kinds of people. I don't work with people who are truly not willing to grow their mental, emotional, spiritual states to monk-like levels of inner peace and, completely change their financial and romantic situation around by changing their self-image of themselves, because your self-image is the most strongest force of you inside of yourself. People I do work with, and when these kinds of people do come into my trainings every single aspect of their life, from their mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial, relationship, career, all these aspects of their life truly blossom. And I have dozens of testimonial videos attesting to this. And they are people who are truly tired of the same patterns of the past, and they want to create new patterns that actually serves them in their life, you know, and actually serves them in their life and serves them for the rest of their life, and serves them instead of sabotage them. I work with people who feel like they came down to this planet to fulfill a divine mission to help more souls on this planet. And they want to become their most unlimited, unfuckwittable version of themselves so they can maximize their potential in helping more people. I work with people who truly want to grow themselves, and like they are willing to have some skin in the game, and understand they have to invest some money to grow their life and business and take it to the next level. I work with people who truly want to be healed. They want to be happy. They want to like live a life that like they can wake up to with gratitude and goofiness and joy and passion. I like work with people who cannot live in their same state for more than for the next month, hell, let alone the next day, right? And they want to change as soon as possible. I do not work. I'm sorry. I work with people, who cannot live in the same state. I work with people who truly are willing to go all in on themselves and invest time, energy, and resources into growing their minds and hearts, because they understand that by unlocking these two channels, everything else unlocks as well, because everything is only a reflection of how your mind is and how your heart is. I work with people who truly want to grow their mental, emotional, spiritual states to monk-like levels of inner peace, and truly transform their wealth, transform their romantic relationships, and transform every part of their life. Those are people that I work with. If that resonated with you, click the link now, right now. Fill out a survey. It just asks you, okay, what's your traumas? Like, if you have any traumas, what's your negative thinking percentage? What's your most painful problem? It asks you, like some other stuff about what's your time looking like, all that stuff like that. And then it will ask you to schedule a time with me like next week or like within the next few days. I look forward to speaking with you. I hope this, training resonated with you. I hope you got a lot of info out of it. If you did, shoot me a text like through IG or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and be like, yo, this is a powerful video. I set up a call with you. I'm excited to like chat with you, talk some, seem something like that. Cool. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.